Awesome. Okay, hopefully this works. So, questions 11 through 13, the income statement, retained earnings, and the balance sheet. So, like all the income statement starts, these ones are the easiest, where you just cover the revenues and expenses for that month. So, and this one, let's see what the options are. This one's for the month of December, because it always covers the month. Revenues always go first. The revenue for this month was consulting revenue. Okay, consulting revenue. I think that's the only revenue that was there, and that was 27,140. And then yeah, you get that total revenue just because that was the only revenue made throughout the month. And then the other part of the income statement is all the liabilities. And this month there were the expenses. So yeah, rent, salaries, telephone, and miscellaneous. Anything else? Nope. Just that. So yeah, you just go down the list of what all of those expenses were. First was the rent. Rent expense, followed by salaries expense, telephone expense, and the miscellaneous expense. And then, yeah, these ones are always the easiest income statements because you just, yeah, literally record what you made money in and what you had to spend money on. So that was 9,710, and then 5,730, 1,030, and 640. Okay, so we had a net income of, what's the difference between that? 27,140 revenue minus the 17,110 in liabilities. Sorry, I did not mean liabilities. I meant expenses. That's what they are. It's cover revenues and expenses. So the difference between that is 10,030. I meant to put net income. Sorry about that. Net income. But that is correct. So, preparing your statement of retained earnings. Use above information. The retained earning account as of December 1 was 0. Okay, so to find the retained earnings, basically what you'd have to do is find the beginning retained earnings, which it's saying is 0. So we're looking for the end. For the month end retained earnings. So as of the beginning of the month, it says right there it was 0. And then the equation to find ending balance is getting the beginning balance, which was 0, subtracting or adding net income, and then you subtract dividends. And that will give you your ending retained earnings for the month. So the net income, like it says right there, is 1030, and that's what we did on the previous income statement. So that's where we're getting this from, 1030. And the dividends were 6,140, so you're subtracting that, making your ending retained earnings 3,890. Just to make sure we did that right. Yep. So yeah, just remember, equation is to find ending retained earnings, you have to get beginning, add net income, and then subtract dividends. Okay, balance sheet. This is what ties it all together. The assets, the liabilities, and equity. So this is for the month ended. So on the left side, your assets are always going to go there. On this right side, your liabilities. And then at the bottom, right here in this big space, is where your equity goes. So what were all the assets? Assets are cash. Cash is an asset. Accounts receivable is an asset. Office supplies, office equipment, and land. So it makes it super easy. All this stuff. First 5 things are your assets. So cash, accounts receivable, office supplies, office equipment, and land. Land. Cash was 25,480. 22,520. 5390. 2170. And 44,150. So that brings our total assets to 117. So what were our liabilities? The only liabilities that we have at the end of the month would be the accounts payable. So accounts payable is 12,020. Yeah, just that. And then our equity would be the common stock and retained, where is it? And our retained earnings, which is what we got last time. Our common stock is 100,101,800, and the retained earnings were, let's see, what were the retained earnings from last time? 3890. So that would equal total assets and liabilities, liabilities and equity. Oh, thank goodness we get to check this. As of December 31, because it's covering the whole expenses throughout the month. So that should do it. Yeah, these ones are super easy, especially because it gives you all the information in, like, not always, I guess. I'm not 100% sure, but for this one, all of the assets were right here, the liabilities right here, all of the revenue was right here, the expenses right here. So it makes it really, really easy. The equity right here. So yeah, hopefully that all made sense.